Hello, you are most welcome. Yeah, it's Henry the computer guy, and this is our first video that is going to be introducing us to web designing using WordPress on a local server. Remember, it will only be accessible on our computer, for example, desktop computer or laptop computer. But as well, you can also do this on a live server whereby your website can be visible to the audience through or via the internet. So what I'm going to do first is to take you through a brief introduction about what our website is and the resources that we might need such that you can download them in time, install them, then be able to follow along with me. So let's get started. So let me briefly talk about a website. What is a website? A website is simply a collection of web pages accessible through the internet. But remember, I told you our websites are going to be on a local server, so they will only be accessible through the desktop computer or laptop computer. So websites can include any form of information like images, like videos, text, and any other form of content that you wish to put there. And let me take this opportunity to show you how our website looks like. I'm going to be using the website for HTB Secondary School. This is our website, and the domain is here htbss.ac.ug. These are the individual pages that we have on the website, and these are called web pages. So we have some socials here. Then when we scroll down here, you can as well look at some information. So it keeps on changing. So this is actually a dynamic website. I'm also going to take an opportunity and talk about what static and dynamic websites mean. Let me begin by a static website. What is a static website? It is a type of website that displays fixed content. That means that information on a static website will not be changing. So the images will be there, the videos will be there, but they will not be changing. Now, what is a dynamic website? It is a type of website that generates content or displays information in real time based on user interactions. Let's say database queries or any dynamic elements that you wish. For example, you find blogs, they keep on changing, information keeps on being changed day and day. That is what we call a dynamic website. So having talked about what we call the static and dynamic website, we are now going to be talking about the resources we'll need such that you can install them in time and be able to follow along with me. So I first of all created the folder on my desktop here. It is called Web Design Resources. Let's open it and see. And inside this folder, we have other more folders that we are going to be working with. So the first one is actually about browsers. Let's open it. We have a Chrome and we have a Firefox, but I can also work with Microsoft Edge. That means that on my computer, I have Firefox, I have Google Chrome, and I also have Microsoft Edge installed onto my computer. What is a web browser? It is simply the software that will allow you to find and display the web pages that we are going to be designing for our website. So you actually need to install this in time. So let's go back and see the next folder. So the next folder is about the local servers. And when we open this folder, inside this folder, we have WAMP and XAMPP. So XAMPP and WAMP are local servers, highly beneficial for smooth operating and evaluating websites and web applications locally on an end user desktop or laptop. So remember, in the beginning, I told you that we are going to be running our website on a local server. So it's going to be accessible on our computer. So we'll have to install one of these, but I recommend XAMPP because it is easier to use and it will work for us. So let's go back and see the next folder. The next folder is about the plugins, and these are actually a piece of software that plugs into your website. It is going to be actually improving the functionality of your website. For example, you've seen, let's say, contact forms on some websites whereby people leave a comment. Let's say you've seen Google Maps and others. You have seen, let's say, Elementor, page builders have been designed as plugins. That means that when you download that plugin, it will be used to enhance or improve the functionality of your website. So under these plugins, we have a lot of them here. We have the contact form, we have the, let's say the Elementor, we have the Flutter, There are many plugins that you can actually download from the internet. We'll be seeing in the next videos how we even install them. But if you don't have an opportunity of downloading this, I'm going to be putting them in the link description below. Then you'll be able to download them at any time that you feel you want. So let's go back here and also talk about what we call the themes. A theme in WordPress is actually a collection of templates, code files, style sheets that modify the way your website is going to be looking like. For example, you've gone to PowerPoint applications, you've seen templates there. Even in WordPress, we have themes that can actually determine how our website will look like. Then lastly, we have the WordPress software. It depends on the version that you want to download or you have. We can also work with any of these, and I'm going to be showing you how you can obtain the themes, the plugins, and even this software. Let me first of all open my browser here. I'm going to be coming to the website called wordpress.org, and when we come to this website, it's where we can get the software. For example, you'll come and click onto this section that says get WordPress. Then you'll download it and finally work with it. For me, I'm not going to download because I already have the software, but for your case, you can download it. And the next tab here, we have, for example, how we can access the themes. We can come to the extend, then we can download the themes. We can also download the plugins, we can download the patterns, we can download the blocks, and many others from that side. So let's see how the themes look like. And they're telling you that themes will add style to your WordPress site, and there are over 11,000 themes for free. You can obtain them. So when you come down here, there are a lot of themes that you can work with. For example, in our next video, we'll be working with Astra. Then we see how we can customize that theme, but there are very many themes you can work with. Then another one are the plugins here. They're telling you that the plugins extend your WordPress experience, and there are over 59,000 free plugins you can download over the internet. For example, if you want that one for mobile money, contact form, you want, let's say, a Google Map, there are all many, there are page builders and many others. For example, when we go back to our website for HTTPS, we have this page for contact us. It has a contact form. That means that you can leave a message, and also has Google Map. That means that you can be directed to where the school is. So those are all plugins that have been used in that section. So having explained also the resources that we are going to be working with and how we can also obtain the software, we're going to be starting and see what we can have in our video. What we're going to do first is to install our local server on our computer. Then later, we'll see how we can put our software into that. So let me come to my local servers folder. And having opened this folder, I'm going to be installing the software called XAMPP, because remember I told you I'm recommending XAMPP. It's the one we're going to be working with. So what you have to do is to double click on this software. And having double clicked on the software, it will take some time to start. You have to be patient. Then it will ask you, do you want to allow this app to be installed to your computer? Of course, I want. And what you have to know is that if you're having a 32-bit operating system, you can download a XAMPP for a 32-bit operating system. If you want a 64-bit, then you can as well be able to download a 64-bit for your computer. So what I'm going to do is to click on yes. And having clicked on yes, it will take some time to start. Let's wait for it. So let's minimize this a little and we wait for that. So they are telling us it is starting, and it tells us that it seems you have an antivirus running. Of course, I have it. In cases this may slow down or interfere with the installation of the software. Please visit the following link to learn more about. So I'm going to continue with the installation, even if I have the antivirus. Click on yes, and having clicked on yes, they're telling me that important, because an activated user account control on your system, some functions of XAMPP are possibly restricted. Let me just continue. Click OK. Then it will take us to the installation step. And they're telling us, do you want to install this software? Welcome to XAMPP Setup Wizard. Of course, next. And having clicked next, you have to select all these, and then afterwards you click on the next option. And having taken us to this section, we are going to be clicking next again. Then after that, of course, we are going to be choosing the language. I'm using English, so I'll come and say next. Then they will tell you that this provides free installers that can install Drupal, Joomla, WordPress. Remember, we are going to be working with WordPress. I'll come and say continue. Next. Then we give it some time to start. So of course, it will open through a browser. You can minimize this, then come and click OK. Then wait for the installation to finish. So our installation is going to be installing the software. Then we have to give it some time and see later. Yeah, you have to give it some time to install. You have to be a little bit patient as the software is installing. So they're telling you, welcome to XAMPP. XAMPP is an easy to install Apache. Yeah, just be patient as the software is installing. It will take some time, so you have to be a little bit patient. So our installation is soon finishing. As you see, our installation is soon finishing. So finally, our installation is here. They are telling us that Windows Defender file has blocked some features of this app. Let me just use also even on our private network. Then I'll say allow access. So it is actually finishing. You have to be a little bit patient. And finally, our installation is getting done. So finally, we are done with our installation. So let's click on finish. They're asking you, do you want to start the control panel now? I want to start. Then I can start my XAMPP. So that means that whenever you want to work with the local server, you will always have to open XAMPP, then you start it. So this is the dialog box that has actually happened after our installation and after starting our XAMPP. So what you have to do first is to start the Apache and MySQL. So I'll click on start and also click start on this such that our server can start. Yeah, even private, allow access. So finally, our XAMPP has started working. So having installed and started Apache and MySQL on our XAMPP, what we're going to do is to actually go and create user accounts and even create a database that is going to be holding content on our website. So what I'm going to do now is to come to the admin option under the MySQL, and having clicked on that option, it will open through my browser. I can close this. I can close this also. So having come here, I'm going to be going to the user accounts. And after clicking on the user accounts, I'm going to be adding another user. And remember, the website we are going to be creating is for HTTP. So I'll type here the name that I want to use. For example, for the user, this is going to be HTTP. And after putting that, I'll also have to put in a password that I'll have to use. Let me just generate any password here. However weak it may be, I can retype it again. Then later you can also use this to generate a password. And after, we are going to be scrolling down here. And they're telling us that database for the user account, we can create the database from here or from here. So I'm going to be creating it from here, and I'm going to be giving it the same name as I gave the user. Then grant all privileges on wildcard names. Yes, you also check this. Then when we scroll down here, I'm going to be checking the global privileges, and that is going to be on the data, on the structure, and the administration. Then later, I'll be coming on the option that says go. So you give it some time, and finally our user and database have been created. That's why you see Chitebi aside here. So I don't want to save the password. Let me say never. That is what we have now. We have our user and our database already created. So let me minimize this and go back to our XAMPP. So having created that, we are going to go to the option that says Explorer. And under this Explorer, it's where we are actually going to be putting our folder where we are going to be putting our website. Then mark the installation from there. So I'm going to be opening the folder that says htdocs. And having clicked on the folder that is called htdocs, that's where the XAMPP will be running from, or our local server. I'm going to be creating the folder where my website will be located. So I'll come and right click on the option that says new. I'll come to show more options, then I'll come and select new, then click on folder. Let me call it Chitebi. And having called it Chitebi, I can open this folder. And right now, this folder is empty. So the next step is putting in the software that we downloaded from WordPress.org. Remember, I told you when you want the software, just come to WordPress.org, click on this option that says Get WordPress, download it. Then after, you'll be putting that information under this folder. But I'm not going to do that because I already downloaded the software. So I'm going to go to my folder that I already created that has that information. Let me go back a little bit here. Then I'll open the folder for software. And having opened it, I have two versions here. I can work with any that I want. Let me use this first one. I'm going to be right-clicking onto this folder. Then I'll come and say, show more options. Then I can extract the files. So you give it time so that the files can be extracted there. So having extracted the files, the folder is just right here. We can open it by double clicking on it, then come and open this folder. We have items into this folder. So what I'm going to do is to select all this folder, then take them into my folder I created for Chitebi under htdocs. So I'm going to click Ctrl+A to select all, then right click and say, I'm going to come and say select all, then come and right click and say copy. And having copied them, I'm going to go to my folder that I created for Chitebi. Then I say paste. So they're actually being copied to that folder. So this installation for XAMPP is always a one-time thing. That means that you can only do it once. So whenever you want to create more websites, you just come into this folder for htdocs, come and create another folder, then put the software there, then you can as well be good to go. So for us, we are going to be working with this folder called Chitebi. So let me open it as the software is being copied there. So finally, our information has been copied under this folder for Chitebi. So what I'm going to do now is to minimize this and come to my browser. Remember, I told you our website will always be running under the browser. So I can open another tab here. And having opened another tab, I'm going to be typing localhost. Remember, we are running on localhost. Then I'll put a slash, I'll put the name of the folder where I've inserted my software. That was Chitebi. And having put that, I'm going to press enter. So you give it some time and see what happens. Finally, they're telling us that welcome to WordPress. Before getting started, you need to know the following. Of course, the name that we used as a database name, we can go back and look at it. It was actually, let me see, the name was Chitebi, and the user account was also Chitebi. So that is what we are going to be working with. So I'll minimize this, then come database username, the password, the localhost, then the prefix. So I'll come and say, let's go. And having clicked on that option, they're going to ask the name of the database we created earlier in our PHP admin. I'm going to be putting the name, which was Chitebi. So you always have to maintain the name such that you don't get confused. Then the username was also Chitebi. Then the password Then we can click on the option that says submit. And they're telling us, all right, Sparky, you have made it through this part of the installation. WordPress can now communicate with your database. So now this website is going to be communicating with the database that we created earlier. So what I'm going to do is to run the installation. And having run the installation, they are also going to take us through this section. They are telling us, welcome. Welcome to the famous 5-minute WordPress installation process. Just fill in the information below and you will be on your way. So I'm going to put in the information here. So the website name, it depends on the name of the website that you're going to be working with. I can as well just say Chitebi. Let me just put Chitebi for a while. Then the username. The username, I can even change the username from here. For example, I can call it, let me just call it Chitebi again. Then I can as well come here. I choose a password. If this is actually difficult for me to remember, I can put, let me put Chitebi again. But this is very weak. If you're working on a live server, you need to put in a strong password for security purposes. Then another one, they are going to ask me to confirm whether I want to use the weak password. Of course, I will use the weak password. It's fine. We're just learning. Then we have to include in our email. Let me say it is Henry Sechito at gmail.com. Remember, if you're working on a live server, this email has to be the one that you always have access to, because when you forget your password, it will always be recovered through that email. So you have to be very careful. Then afterwards, I'm going to say install WordPress. So you give it time. So they're telling us that, sorry, it is not a valid email. Sorry, let me change it. Maybe we made a mistake somewhere. We didn't put a dot here. So we come and say dot. So it is a valid email address now. So we can confirm the use of a weak password again. Come and say install. So you give it some time to make the installation for you. Just be a little bit patient. So finally, they're telling us a success. WordPress has been installed. Thank you and enjoy. So our username is still Chitebi. So we are going to be logging in again. I don't want to save the password here. So I'll come and say login. So I'll use my username, which was Chitebi, and the password that I put already. Then I'll come and click on the option that says login. So finally, our WordPress has been installed, and this is taking us to what we call the dashboard, where everything will happen, where the magic is going to be happening. And I think in the next video, we are going to be seeing how we can install the theme and also be able to customize that theme and be able to design our beautiful websites. Thank you for being such a good audience. It's been Henry the Computer Guy. Bye-bye. I sign out.